All of you at the Southern Republican Leadership Conference, wish I could be there, and I know you're having a great time celebrating what I believe is going to be a terrific opportunity for Republicans to take leadership of this country after 2016. I'm sorry I'm not there with you personally to celebrate conservative principles, but I wanted to share a video with you that I hope will encourage you as you focus upon what can make America great all over again.
On his first day in office, Governor Huckabee's door was nailed shut. It was in Bill Clinton's Arkansas. You had huge Democratic majorities in the House, in the Senate. You had all of the apparatus of the Democratic Party aligned against Mike Huckabee, and all of a sudden, this Republican comes out of nowhere and wins.
Every day of my life in politics was a fight, and sometimes it was an intense one. But any drunken redneck can walk into a bar and start a fight. A leader only starts a fight that he's prepared to finish. As governor of Arkansas, I cut taxes and welfare, balanced the budget every year for 10 years, and raised average family income by 50%. We didn't slash, burn, hurt people, leave people impoverished. We empowered people to live a better life. I'm not a Republican because I grew up rich. I'm a Republican because I didn't want to spend the rest of my life poor, waiting for the government to rescue me. One thing that has to happen in America is moving the power away from Washington, where people are so disconnected from the way that so many ordinary Americans live. It's a disaster. Power needs to be local and limited, because the closer government is to the people, the more accountable it is to the people who are being governed. Instead of fighting over the minimum wage, I'm going to focus on solutions to help every American earn his or her maximum wage. I'll protect Social Security and Medicare. Washington has done enough lying and stealing. I'll never rob seniors of what our government promised them and even force them to pay for. And I'll lead with moral clarity in a dangerous world. There's a difference between right and wrong. There's a difference between good and evil. I'll keep all the options on the table in order to defeat the evil forces of radical Islam. We believe in some things. We stand by those things. We live or die by those things. Let's win the fight for what matters most.
Now welcome to the stage the former First Lady of the great state of Arkansas, Mrs. Janet Huckabee.
So much. I'm so sorry Mike couldn't be here, but he sort of was here, just a little bit. I had to follow Ambassador Bolton in the Sky Club in Atlanta. I followed him in the airport elevator. I sat behind him on the airplane, and I get here, and now I'm following him to speak. So my luck, I had to follow the smartest man in the room. I don't know what my lot was to do that, but I got to follow him everywhere for the last 2 days. I bet when I get to the airport, he's going to be on the same airplane as me going back. So, May 25th, this Monday, is Memorial Day. How many of you knew that? You've got plans, right? It's a day, it used to be called Decoration Day, but now we call it Memorial Day. It's a day that we honor those that have fallen in war. I'm sure we've probably already recognized those men and women that served, but if we haven't, if you would just stand so that I could see you and know that you have served somewhere in our military service at this moment, so we can give you a hand. Thank you. And then I'm going to pretend that you just clapped for me, because on May 25th, I'm going to celebrate my 41st wedding anniversary. So thank you. Mike and I got married 41 years ago, this coming Monday. And for those of you who are trying to add it up, I got married at 12. So in Arkansas, Mike likes to say we were late bloomers, but I just tell people I was 12. He made a promise, for better, for worse, for richer, for poor, in sickness and in health. I didn't realize that was going to mean anything our first year and a half of marriage, but I found that I was having trouble with my back, and you just think, oh, well, that just happens. But for those of you who are really counting, I got married at 18. I was really young, but when the doctors told me that I had cancer, and it was spinal cancer, and it was malignant, it was not something I really wanted to hear. And I always like to say that Mike was the hero there, because he could have left me at that moment. Because after surgery and 6 weeks of radiation therapy, I had to practically learn to walk again. But he was there to help me out, because he promised, in sickness and in health. And he would get up every morning. We lived in Arkadelphia, Arkansas. He would drive me to Little Rock early in the morning so I could have radiation therapy. He would drive us back home, settle me down in the house, go to class. He kept a job and still finished college in just 2 years with honors. So he was the hero to me at that time. And see, America has a story for people like us because they give us an opportunity to live the American dream. Now, we didn't have 2 cents to rub together, but we had each other. And we had the opportunity to live that American dream. And we had the privilege in this country to do things that few people have the opportunity to do. And even during that time, and even in our 41 years of marriage, I've seen Mike do some remarkable things. One of those things came also not too long after that time, when we were trying to get along and start our family, that really I was told I would never have kids. But I found out very soon after that, I was pregnant with our first son. And I'd been traveling back and forth weekly to the laundromat. And Mike said, we can't keep doing this with a new baby. And I said, well, you just kind of make up your mind about how we're going to make this work with, no money, no way possible to get a washer and dryer. Well, he just jumped right on into action, and he sold 2 of his favorite items. You see, growing up, he thought he was going to be the 5th Beatle. Now, y'all have seen him play the guitar every now and then, and he thought he was going to be the 5th Beatle. I mean, he had two guitars just like they did, and he played them all the time growing up. But he hadn't played those guitars in a long time after we got married, but he sold them. It just broke his heart, broke mine too, but we got a washer and dryer. He made it happen. Now, it took me a long time to find a replacement for that guitar, but I found one in a pawn shop, long time. I think it was 30 years it took me to find something close to what he had. But he plays his guitars now, and you've seen him do it. But that's what it takes, sacrifice. You do that for your family, and you can do that in America because you have the opportunity to live that American dream. We can do things like that because this is a great country. Imagine having dinner with George Washington or Thomas Jefferson or John Adams, and they ask you to defend America. What would you do? How would you do it? What would we tell them? Would we say everything is great? Our economy is good? We have no problems? Or would we have to say, we're fighting each other in the streets, the economy is awful, Congress can't get anything done, we're trampling on our Constitution? How would we defend America? Could we do it? Could we look them in the eye and do it? Sadly, I don't think we could do it. I think we would have a hard time doing that. I noticed you had workout sessions, and one of them was The Democratic war on women. Do we have that? Is there a war on women? I don't know if there's press here or not, but don't you dare write one word unless you write all of this sentence, because I will haunt you down good. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't have a war on women, but we have a war on men, and we have a war on children, and we have a war on teenagers. We have a war on our economy. We have a war on small business. We have a war even on women, and we have a war on our borders. We have a war even on the American flag, because we have lost passion for this country. We don't have the passion that our forefathers had when they started this country. When they would go into their homes and take a mantle off of their fireplace and go out and fight for the love of freedom. We have lost the passion to defend this country. The passion that we had to create a constitution in the first place for our freedoms. We have lost it. And I'm here to tell you that unless we get that passion back, the passion that it takes for men and women to go defend this country every day, that we would even have a day to celebrate Memorial Day. We have lost the passion. And if we don't get it back, then we, yes, have war on all of those things that I mentioned, because we don't have a passion. There is reason to celebrate this American dream. There is reason for us to have hope. But we have to have the opportunity to take that hope and use that hope and go from hope to higher ground. Our next president should take us from hope to higher ground. With Mike Huckabee, I've seen it. He's given us the opportunity to go from hope to higher ground. That's not just a slogan. That's a sacred promise. Thank you, God bless you, and have a wonderful, happy Memorial Day.